Welcome to Matrix Live, Season 8, Episode 5.
You're stuck with us for a change, like
Yes.
old times.
It's the holiday season, everyone is away, so it's just us left
In fact-
until we flee.
Yeah, it is the summer. In fact,
You can feel it,
yeah,
but
it's
we
like
can.
about 40 degrees C in the Matrix Goldfish Bowl here. And we are actually going to break with convention and do a Matrix summer special blog post for all 4 people out there who get excited about the 20-page blog post, which we normally put out every Christmas. But I got overexcited the other night and went and started writing one for the summer, which we're now going to completely spoil, basically, in the video form. But let's do it anyway.
But there may be some surprise in the blog post, so you'll have to read it anyway.
Yeah. I hope you got a good idea for a good surprise. Anyway, what are we going to talk about?
So, one good news I heard this week is about room joins. The backend team has been working very hard on trying to reduce the time it takes to join big rooms in particular. And I think that the performance increase is quite mind-blowing.
It is indeed. I mean, this is a long-running, pretty ambitious project to basically change how Synapse models rooms in general, because historically Synapse has always assumed that its view of a room is complete and atomic, whereas in practice, and that means that when you join a room over federation, like a big room like Matrix HQ, that could have around 80,000 state events that need to be transferred to your server, and all of those state events have to be authorized, so you need the chain of auth events which go and justify why those events are allowed to exist. If each event is about half a K or a K or so, then that could easily be 80, 100 megabytes of JSON needed just to join Matrix HQ. And you've got to pull all of that out of the database on the host, which is joining your server into the room. You've got to chuck it over the wire. You've then got to authenticate it all. You've got to check the hashes on it all. You've got to store it all in your database. And then Synapse would let you participate in the room. So what they've been doing is going and completely changing how the join and the state logic works so that Synapse can have a partial view of the world and so incrementally join the rooms. So specifically for Matrix HQ, it's about 80,000 events, 120,000 auth events. But with faster room joins, it gets reduced to about, from memory, 40 state events and about 120 auth events. So that is literally, 4 orders of magnitude less data to be transferred before you can jump into the room. Practically speaking, this speeds up room join on a new Virgin server from being about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, joining HQ, which is obviously completely crazy, down to, at the moment, 30 seconds. So it's not instant yet, but that's already a 25 times speed up. But the fun thing is that we might be able to optimize it even more, given that it's only having to calculate a handful of events. So this is the status as of yesterday, I think, or Thursday. It's Friday today. Yeah, it was yesterday, I think, when Roach VDH was going through testing it. And the only things missing on it now are tidying up some of the loose ends and also letting you speak in the room before it's fully synchronized. Because what happens is that you join it synchronizes the initial things, and then in the background it still has to go and replicate over everything else. During that time you can receive new events in the room. Shortly, in the next few weeks, you'll also be able to send them, and then we are in a whole new world of fast room joins, which is really fun, particularly when we have peaking, because it means we will finally, hopefully, have the infrastructure to peak over federation.
Yeah, really exciting. And now you can go check the blog post to see if the numbers were accurate.
As if. No, you won't, because by the time you listen to this,
of course,
the
the
blog
number
post
of
is not,
events will have increased.
but also the blog post won't be out, because I'm not going to finish the blog post in the next 2 hours. I think the blog post will go out on Monday for the
Next
record.
week.
So this will literally be a sneak preview of what I'll be banging on about in that. What else?
Otherwise, just to record this Matrix live, I had to restart my laptop and Element took ages to start. And there is one thing I can't wait to see landing. It is sliding syncs, especially on iOS.
Yeah, so I mean, just like fast joins speeds up how servers join other servers, sliding sync speeds up how clients sync with servers. And it, as you've probably heard by now, a complete rewrite of how sync works. And it only transfers the data to the client that the client needs to draw the user interface. So diametric opposite from where we've been in the past, where we go and copy all of the data from the server for your account basically to the client when it boots. And yeah, we were just sitting here for like a minute waiting for Amandine's Element desktop to launch, and that had been running like 2 minutes earlier. So it's just an awful experience, a fundamental misdesign which we are finally fixing. And the big news is that Element Web has made huge progress towards actually hooking this up for real. And I'm going to try to do a live dangerous demo on my laptop here using the analog screen sharing gap. So let me do something like that. Perfect, brilliant, wonderful. So here's one I made earlier, which is going and sitting on completely blank account in Chrome. I'm going to try logging in on it like so. I'm going to look away briefly whilst I type in my password. And this better work. Okay, so I'm going to verify using a passphrase. And now we're going to do the sync. Bang, that was it. So that was literally, half a second, less than a second, where you see the blank room list and then it comes up. Now I've gone and censored all of my room names here because you don't want to see all the invites which I'm ignoring and all the people whose DMs I'm ignoring. But if I open up, say, the room picker here and just pick some random room, like I know I've been using the VVV room, then you can see that it's just sitting there for the VVV community going and hacking away, doing random visualization stuff, and I'm in on the account. And if I go and hit refresh on that, it should take us basically straight back in. Come on! Like all the best demos. Not going quite as fast as it should. God, when I did this earlier, it was an instant launch. Nah. Well, this is why we haven't launched it yet.
Yeah.
That's really annoying. Let me just refresh it. You know what I think might have happened there is that it was starting to pull in encryption on events in the background, which is why if I pull up the console on that, I bet it's just sitting there frantically spinning away doing some crypto. No, it's not.
It says wait.
It's just a bug. Oh well, perhaps we can edit that out of the video. But either way, sliding sync is getting super close on web, as you can see. We also have it working on Element X.
Cool. That will be life-changing. The other exciting thing coming up, which has made huge progress lately, is a two-man band at Element working on OIDC.
Yep. So are we openidcyet.com or are we oidcyet.com is launched a few days ago. If you haven't seen it, honestly, just go and check out the website because it is really good overview of all the work that we've been doing to shift Matrix's authentication protocols from weird custom stuff to proper OIDC.
Otherwise, last week, I think it was, I hope Thibault hasn't already demoed that, but basically last week was a big event. We had the very first call on Element Call using the SFU.
Yeah, so this is the selective forwarding unit that Sean Dubois wrote that I then took over and then Simon Bradner went and fixed. And we had it running really well with 12 people in a conference. It needs a lot of tuning to go much bigger because at the moment it has no rate control built into it. But it's still very usable and already more usable than normal Element Call. So watch this space for big updates on that going live. And I think we'll do a dedicated Matrix live in a couple of weeks with the VoIP team to talk about it.
Exciting. Otherwise, yesterday we had a fun meeting with the design team at Element because we have Element X coming up, and they have been working on changing the design into something much more glossy than what Element is today. So that was really, really cool. I don't know, do you have, what did you think?
I'm super excited about it. I wish we could show it, but I think the design team would murder us,
Yes.
given it's all still in flux. But it's unrecognisably sexier app than what we have today. I'd say, in terms of sexier than Slack, yes. Sexier than Discord, yeah. Sexier than WhatsApp, easily. Sexier than Signal, easily.
WhatsApp is stuck into the 90s.
Yeah, WhatsApp is still basically looking like the default build your first ever iOS app example thing. So that's pretty exciting, honestly. I can't overstate it. Can't wait for the team to start building it out. And then also...
other designs. Also, for people who have been, you can introduce it this time.
Okay, so not only is the Element X redesign coming along, which is basically the entire look and feel of the app, obviously, we're also making a pretty major redesign on Element itself, on both iOS and Android, launching pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. I guess should we cheat and show it off briefly as to the sort of thing that we're looking at?
Yes, I think we can.
I'll give quick flash.
Quick highlight. So basically, it's changed, and we have removed all the tabs at the bottom, and you can see that it's just one big room list for people who like one big room list, and I like to have my recents over here. So I do have my recents over here.
On the top right, we've got the button now to go and select which bits you want. So if you want to turn the recents on and off, then you can do that.
And you can remove them, and then you have in the corner you can access your different spaces and add your spaces, etc., etc. So that's also really exciting because it makes the app look much better, and it satisfies people who really like simplicity with one room list, and people like me who are a pain. Oh, I forgot to show you have the filters. On top of the room list, you can add filters so that you can see just all your unreads or your favorites, people, etc. And that's great.
I'm trying to. It's basically riffing on this whole incremental disclose idea that by default the app just looks like a really dumb, simple WhatsApp, and then if you're a power user, you can add on all the bells and whistles to navigate it as necessary.
Thank you for saying power user and not control freak. Otherwise, the other exciting bits, another team which has been going super fast at Element, it's the third room team.
Indeed, third room is coming on leaps and bounds. The idea is to actually launch a tech preview of third room at the end of August, hopefully, so in a couple of weeks, where we shall reveal the whole system and its engine called Manifold and all the things it can do. It's not necessarily going to be a sort of mainstream take over the world app in its sort of initial form. It's more, hey, look, everybody here is a Matrix client that gives you access to a 3D spatial environment where you can go and build whatever functionality you like. But some of the last minute things which are landing have been animated avatars, which will be, in fact, we won't spoil now, but we'll go and put in the blog post on Monday and then obviously launch it properly in a few weeks. There's also light mapping, which is really important for sexy looking 3D imagery of any kind, where you basically bake the shadows into the textures of the scene so that everything looks as beautiful as possible without having the runtime overhead of having to figure out the shadows on the fly. We've got hopefully some ambient occlusion, we've got lots of anti-aliasing, we've got depth of field, we've got bloom, we've got slightly controversial text labels so that you can see what everything is if you put the reticule on the middle of your point of view over the top. And the idea really is to be a blank canvas for spatial stuff on top of Matrix, and it's just really cool. So much better than all of the other dreaded metaverse proposals out there. So that's what's going on for us.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a brain dump of the crazy things happening. There is so much more happening that we didn't get through. But I'm getting really too hot in that room. Is that a good reason to shorten
Yeah.
the Matrix life?
Yeah. Let's call it there before we expire.
Start saying stupid things.
Yeah, heaven forbid. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thanks for flying Matrix, and speak to you soon.
Bye.